What is up, guys, and welcome to the special interview of Guarani Vision, the first ever podcast dedicated to Paraguayan football in English. As always, I'm Roberto Rojas, and joining me is my great co-host, Ralph Hanna. And today we're going to be speaking to Florencia Caceres, a U17 international for Paraguay, but with a bit of obviously some connections to the United States. She's obviously American-born with Paraguayan parents, playing right now for the Florida West in the Elite Club National League. And we're going to obviously go into a bit of her career, her ambitions, really just what it's like playing for Paraguay and just playing soccer here in the United States. So Florencia, first of all, thank you so much for coming. It's a real pleasure to have you. And I guess, my first question to you is, how has been everything playing for Paraguay? How's that kind of been for you? You just played in a tournament against the United States, and I'm sure it was a very special moment for you. But what was how did it feel to wear the Paraguay shirt and to play in a tournament like that, and among all the other tournaments that you played so far in your young career?
It was a really good experience, and I was grateful to be able to play for my country.
Um, Tell us, Flor, how you were feeling when you got to Turkey. You were in a very cool hotel. I think it was you got to mix with players from other teams as well because it was a friendship tournament. So, how was that experience? I guess to be with other players, other international players, and kind of share that experience.
It was really good, like being able to learn their cultures and getting to play against them too, and learning how like their style of play is.
And you got to compare yourself with other players in your age group, but I'm guessing you look up to some players at the on kind of the world stage. So, who would you say are some of your favorite players to watch at the moment, and who do you try and look at when you're trying to learn the game
On my team,
on your team or just in soccer in general?
well, on my team I look up to this girl named Lulu. She's our center back, and she's a really good leader. She's our captain, and she's always like make sure to bring everybody up, and she always puts forth her greatest effort.
And how about in professional soccer? Who are you following at the moment?
I like watching Busquets from Inter Miami because he plays my position.
Okay, nice. And now he's just playing alongside, of course, another Paraguayan, Diego Gomez, and Mati Rojas, who just joined recently. So that's very cool. A question about being in Miami at the moment. There's so much going on, of course, with Messi, and you've been there since a young age. How do you try and manage playing soccer and also going to school and doing everything that a teenager likes to do? What's like a day in the life for you in terms of training and playing?
Well, after I go to school, I come back, and then probably an hour after school, I would go to practice. And then at night, I would do my homework. And then on the weekends, if I don't have games or any trainings, then I will um I will like go out with my friends.
Okay, nice. And then another question I have just before I pass over to Roberto. You used to play a lot of basketball because I've watched you play. Are you still trying to do both sports at the same time? Because we had Karina Vega on here one time from Libertad, and she's also played professional soccer and basketball in Paraguay. Is that something you're still doing, or are you now fully focused on your soccer?
Well, right now I'm doing more soccer. I'm on a basketball team too, but I don't really go as much, and I think I'm gonna stick to soccer.
Certainly there's always this kind of ambition. Everyone wants to be like the next Alex Morgan or even the next Caitlin Clark. That's always been kind of the main thing. But for you, obviously as a kid growing up, and I could say this for myself because obviously I'm a kid that was born and raised in the United States, and my parents are Paraguayan as well. you know, I just wanted to ask, what has been like your connection to the country? I don't know how many times you've been. What have you liked about it? Certainly, uh, kids like to always like to roam around the United States, go to like Florida, go to trips like that. But like for some people like us, we go and visit our family's country. So I wanted to ask like how you felt like every time you go to Paraguay. Do you like it? Are there things that are very different in comparison to what they do in the US? What do you like about Paraguay the most?
I really like going to visit my family and seeing the things that they do because I don't see them very often. and I like to see like the things that they do in their own time and like what they enjoy doing. And I also really like the food because my mom cooks it here, and I really like eating it how they do it over there too.
And what's your favorite food? Because that's always a big discussion. Like, oh, we have to pick this one. What do you like the most out of all the foods that we have there?
I really like this food called I like stroganoff. It's like rice with like a pink sauce.
Nice. Yeah, Ralph, I'm sure you've had that in your time when you've been to Paraguay. That's a really good food. I guess I'll ask because, obviously you're still young, you're still, trying to, play for fun really. And certainly there is gonna come a time where you're gonna ultimately decide what you want to do. But ultimately, is that your dream? What is your dream moving forward to play for Paraguay? Obviously there's big competitions happening like a U17 or U20 World Cup that's later down the line. Is that something that you feel like, yeah, I totally want to be there in the next couple years?
Yeah, I want to be there, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know my team over there and hopefully play a lot more tournaments and games with them.
I guess I'll ask as well, what's the difference about playing here that like in the US? Because we're so big on like being the best. We're, obviously most World Cups, we've had legendary players over so many decades. Whereas Paraguay, they're still trying to find their feet of like trying to be like a big team. What do you think are some of the differences in like the way they play and the way that you play here in the United States?
Well, here it's more like everybody's really intense and everybody's running super fast and like trying to be super aggressive and get the ball. And over there, it's more about like trying to be calm and composed and like trying ways to win every game, like compared to like who you play against and using like tactics to beat the team.
I mean, I think this was always going to be a big thing because, there's a lot of American kids out there that obviously want to dream to play for the US. And also, there are some that unfortunately don't have I guess not the talent, but also just the fact that the reality is there's so many other good players out there. Was it a tough decision to say that you wanted to play for Paraguay instead of the United States, or is that something that you're like, yeah, I totally wanted to do that?
I wanted to play for Paraguay because like it's where like I went a lot of the times like when I was younger, and I also like don't get to go very often, and like this is my chance to go there and get to see my family.
And
Love that.
just to talk us through that game, because then it kind of played out. It wasn't necessarily the plan, right, in Turkey that you would end up playing USA, but you guys got to the final, so you got to take on maybe people you've seen before, and or maybe some players that you know. How did you guys feel going into that game, knowing they had just won the last match 15-0 against Botswana? You guys probably knew that. How were you feeling? Were you nervous going into that game?
Well, we knew it was going to be a very hard game, especially because we know that US is a very intense game, but we kept a positive mentality and we knew that it was going to be like 11 versus 11 no matter what, and we just needed to put like our hardest work.
Love that. I love that energy. That's something that a lot of players that we have here and around the world deserve to have. I mean, for people that maybe don't or haven't seen you play as of yet, how can you describe yourself? You said that you look up to someone like Sergio Busquets, playing in that center midfield position. Just talk about some of the things that you do best and even the ones that you want to improve on as a player.
I like to distribute the ball and keep possession, and I'm more of a defensive player than like going more like attacking. And some things that I want to work on is like I obviously want to try to attack more, and instead of going like, because I tend to play backwards a lot, like trying to keep possession and like to keep going forwards and use my skills.
I love that. That's exactly what we need, like those kind of like versatile players. I think that's something that a lot of Paraguayans have. I mean, certainly this is going to be very interesting to follow your career. Obviously, here at Guarani Vision, myself, Ralph, and the people that are there are obviously going to support you along the way, and really hope that you do succeed, Lord. So I just want, kind of what your last thoughts are, just like what you're going to do for the rest of the year, what are your ambitions, big summer coming up, obviously, with Paraguay playing in the Copa America here. I'm sure you're going to be obviously looking forward to seeing how we do and seeing how the women's team does as well if they make it to other World Cups. I mean, what kind of message you want to send to all the people, your family, your friends, or whoever that are listening to this?
Well, I want to say that like no matter what, like you should always keep working hard and to not like let go of your dreams.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Flor, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for everyone listening into this interview. For myself, Roberto Rojas, and Ralph Hanna, thank you so much for listening in. See you soon.
Thank you.